Hello pilots of the internet, welcome to Foldable Flight. In this video I am teaching you how to fold an awesome paper airplane called Saber, which as you can see is a gorgeous plane, newly designed, just made it, really excited to share it with you. But I do want to get a couple things out of the way very quickly before I talk more about this plane. So, as you know, I'm not posting that frequently to Foldable Flight right now, but I am also posting to a channel called Power Up Toys. So be sure to click that card in the top right corner and subscribe there, because you'll get a lot more content from me if you are also subscribed there. What the heck are you waiting for? The next thing is that my book is now available on Amazon.com. So if you are one of the first 50 people to buy my book on Amazon, I'm going to throw in a free bonus template pack in addition to the templates already included in the book. So you can see here, these papers allow you to fold planes that look like the ones on the cover rather than just a plain white sheet of paper. If you get the bonus template pack, that will add 2 copies of each of those designs to your order. And again, I'm just throwing that in for free to the first 50 people who buy my book on Amazon. And if you like the book, my hope is that you will leave a positive review, because that helps me out a ton. Now, let's talk about this plane. As you can see, it has just a beautiful shape to it, these really cool fins, and even a locking mechanism on its nose, which makes it more aerodynamic than it would be otherwise. This is just a very elegant paper airplane that really looks amazing in my opinion. Now, it can look even better if you support me on Patreon and you use the Patreon template. All you have to do is download it and print it off, and you can fold a plane that looks like this rather than just one folded from a plain colored or white sheet of paper. So as you can see, I think this adds a ton to the plane. I always do with these Patreon templates. Hopefully you like it too, and hopefully you'll join me for the folding sequence of this plane, which is coming up next. Now, I will warn you at the onset, this is a fairly difficult plane to fold. I would say it's an advanced paper airplane, and I'm going to try to move at a pace that this video is not too long. But all you need in order to fold Saber is an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper and a little bit of folding skill. So with that, we will begin by folding this left edge here to the right edge, like so, and I always rotate it as I do this just for my own convenience. And then we're going to, with this as our folded edge here, go ahead and fold this edge to that edge. And we'll flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Folding our raw edge to our folded edge. And we will open it back up into this orientation. And next we're going to take this top edge here to our bottom edge, but I'm not creasing all the way across. What I'm doing is I'm just providing a little pinch crease right there and a pinch crease right here. Open that back up. And my next step is to fold from this point here where this crease intersects the top edge through this pinch crease on this side. Trying to get this accurate while also keeping my head out of the frame is a bit of a challenge, so mine may end up a little sloppy in this video, we'll see. So I've done that, now I'll do the same thing on the other side, folding from this intersection to this pinch crease over here. And we'll open that up. And I'm actually going to rotate the paper 180 degrees and do the same exact thing, going from this intersection here through this pinch crease, which now has this crease there as well. And I'll open that up and do the same thing here, going from this intersection of this crease and that edge through this intersection here. And I know there's a lot of pre-creasing in this paper airplane. It's kind of just what is necessary in order to create those fins that are so appealing in this design. And with that, you could see we kind of have this unique pattern on our page. And what we want to do is take this top edge now and fold to this intersection on each side. And again, we're just making a pinch crease right there and right there. And you can open that back up. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn my paper over, because I want all these creases to be going in the other direction. Now these are mountain folds. These new ones will be valley folds as I go from this intersection where this edge here, or this crease is intersecting this edge, I'm folding up to my pinch crease there now. So those are my two references. I know this is a little bit tricky to find your references in these, but being accurate is important. So try really hard. And you can see what that fold looks like. And now I'm actually going to rotate my paper just to work with it differently. And I want to fold, here I'm going to actually even break out a pen and show you. You can see I have this intersection here. I want to fold from there to this intersection right there. And you can see when I open that back up exactly what that looks like. And I want to do both of those same folds on the other side. So here's my pinch crease on that line there. I'm folding now from this point right here to that point right there. So again, I'm going to rotate it into this orientation and fold through those creases or intersections. And I'll open that up. And now I'm looking at this point right here where this diagonal intersects the edge. And I'm going to fold from there to there. If you find that I'm moving too quickly for you, feel free to play the video in slower speed or pause wherever you need. But your plane should look like this, or your paper. It doesn't really look like a plane yet. It should look like this. And I'm actually going to flip it back over. And you can see we're getting close to where we're going to be able to collapse this whole thing. But first I'm going to rotate it like so. And I want to fold this top edge here down to this intersection right here. This is the intersection we're looking at. We're folding the top edge to that and going all the way across. And now I'm actually going to flip the paper back over and, unfold that and use this mountain fold and kind of pull it like so. And I actually want to land this crease here on this intersection right there. Just like that. And then fold that down like so. Now I'm going to flip it back over. I know we're not doing a lot of flipping, but you can tell that you're on the right side by the fact that these longer or taller diagonals here should be mountain creases, and these lower diagonals should be valley creases. So if that is the case for you, you should be able to begin kind of molding this as I'm doing here, like so, into this shape. And you can see valley, valley, mountain, mountain, and then this section, this is a mountain here, a mountain there, and the section between these two creases is going to reverse and become a valley crease. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, just kind of work those into those orientations. Fighting, and this section is going to be the part that fights you most as you try to kind of get this properly oriented. And you can see now I am ready to collapse this. So I'm going to kind of compress like so. Compress this side like so. You can see the whole thing can be closed up into this shape, just like that. At this point, I'm going to open this using this existing crease here as my hinge, which will make a crease on this top layer. Flip it over, do the same thing on this side. And now I want to open this whole thing up, but you can see it's going to be a little tricky because both on the bottom and on the top, it's not going to want to lie flat. So here it's closed. I'm pulling it into this position. And you can see as I open both sides, I'm going to push this little triangular section in one direction. So you can see just what that is. Just pushing it right like that. And when I flip it into this orientation and lie flat, I'll sweep out and pull this section down just like so. And now our model should lie flat in this orientation, and it should look like this on one side and like this on the other side. Okay, so having it in this orientation with this point now facing me, I'm going to lift this, what is going to become one of our fins, and I want to hold it. You can see right here is where these layers, there are two layers, are kind of meeting this layer. That's where I want to pinch it. And I'm going to use one finger here to kind of pull on this layer and pull it out. And you can see how it wants to start swinging open, and that's exactly what I want. Then I'm going to kind of pinch that. And what I want to do is I want to land this ridge here on this crease. So you can see we have a crease here that intersects our back edge. That's right where I want to land this. So I'm gathering this section. You can see I'm gathering that and swinging it to land. And you can kind of pivot this side, pivot that side. You want to land it right on that crease. So you can see this edge here just landed right where that crease intersects the back edge. And having done that, I will push the slack out of that bubble and flatten it like so. I know that is tricky. I understand. Watch on the other side as well as I do that. I'm grabbing right here at kind of the base of what's going to become our fin and pulling on this layer to help release the layers that were underneath. Then once I've done that, I'm going to grab this, and I have kind of this fin forming in my hand. Get the bubble out of the way. I'm holding the crease, or the fin in my hand, and I want to land this edge here where this crease is intersecting the back edge. And I didn't quite trace the crease properly, so what you see on camera, it will appear as though I've missed it, but actually I'm making sure that I do hit it. And then I flatten that bubble. And our plane should look like this. And I know that is rather complex, and I feel sympathy for you if you're struggling. I understand. While we have our plane like this, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. And I want to do another thing where I'm going to open this whole section up. I'm grabbing this layer on either side and opening this whole section up like so. And basically what I want to do is tuck all this slack into this section like so, and then close it all back up. Just swing in on that side and swing in on this side, and you can see now it should lay flat like that. And we'll flip it back over, And I want to now take this fin and fold it in the other direction. Like so. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now we have fins that can actually stand up, looking good. And I'm going to flip this plane back over to here. So your paper airplane should look like this. And what we want to do now is we're going to flip it over and just take a second to look. You can see we have this edge right here. And we're going to be using that edge in the next step, but we're actually having our paper in this orientation. What we want to do is pull this all the way, and you can see I'm pulling it all the way until this edge that's right there is being revealed, and I want to land this new crease that I'm making along that edge. Okay, and you can see I've made that crease right there, but then it even goes into this pocket, and I want to continue that same angle all the way back into that pocket. And having done that, I'm actually going to pull this pocket to fit snugly there. You want that point of the pocket to open all the way up to that point. And I'm going to collapse the pocket. You can see we have this diagonal crease. You have two diagonal creases right here. And what we want to do is make it so that this new edge we're forming lands on this bottom crease, where the bottom crease intersects the edge of the paper. And it should look like this. Okay, we'll do the same things on the other side. We're going to pull this all the way until we reveal that edge of the paper, and then land our new edge right there on top of it. Crease all the way back into the pocket. Open this pocket up all the way to that point, and use this bottom diagonal crease as our reference as we swivel that pocket open, land it right like so, and flatten it like so. I know this is complicated. Again, I sympathize if you are struggling, but hopefully you've been able to keep up so far. That said, it's not going to get a whole lot easier as we're about to do a really tricky fold here, and I'm going to rotate the plane as I do this. I want to fold this edge here to land on this edge here. And to do that, you'll notice that the plane's not going to lie flat. You're going to have to really work on this section there. And crease all the way into that pocket. And then once you've done that, you can flatten this pocket so that this new edge you're making goes down to this corner right here. And we'll try that again on the other side. We're pulling this edge here to that edge. And flatten this whole pocket like so. Okay, and your plane should look like this. Next, we're going to actually reverse these so that this layer right here goes inside this layer. So this is, again, it's tricky. You're going to open up the whole thing, and basically this is the crease that you need to reverse. Currently, it is a valley fold, and you want that crease to become a mountain fold as you force in. Other things will happen, of course, but that's kind of what you need to work on most. Force that in like so, and everything else should kind of cooperate with you. And you can see now we have a different layer on the top, and the other layer went behind. So again, we're opening up this whole pocket, reversing that one crease, just tucking this whole thing in. And as we do that, everything else should kind of work into place. And you can lie it flat like so. Okay, next I'm going to just fold this edge here right over that edge. I'll do the same thing on this side. Then I'll open this up and tuck that away. Open this side up and tuck that in like so. Okay, so far so good, right? And next I'm going to pull this I'm going to make a crease here, pulling this all the way as far forward as I can and landing this corner here on this edge. I'll do the same thing on the other side. And now I can reverse both of those so that that is going in behind. You can see I'm just reversing that crease in the other direction. And your plane should now look like this. At this point, we're going to go ahead and fold in half on that existing crease. And you can see here, we have this front section. And if you had just folded right in half, it'll look like this, but this often wants to free up. And in fact, that's what we want to do. We want to free up this little section on the nose so that it looks like this. And we're going to kind of pull on either side like so that we land this crease right on this edge here. And pull that all the way down, and that'll pull tight. So I'll show you again, swinging it like that. And this is a locking mechanism for the nose of our plane. And now that we have that, we'll lay the plane on the side and kind of open up this side of the plane here. And we want to get all the way into these bottom layers. And now I'm folding this edge here into the center. And you can see as I do that, I know this is an ugly view. As I do that, it'll crease all the way to this corner there. So you can see, really all I've done is I've folded this little bit of the paper in, and it goes all the way into the center of the plane. And I'll flip it over and do the same thing on this side. Again, I want it to go all the way in under all these other layers. And here I'm going to rotate it so that it's facing me as I work on this. Hopefully you can still see on the camera what I've got here. I'm folding right there, all the way in. And I'll close that up. And now we just have a couple steps left. We are virtually finished with this paper airplane. You can see it's really coming together at this point. First I'm going to make sure these fins are actually angling up and out of the plane rather than down into the fuselage. So like that. And what I want to do is I'm going to fold this little corner here in behind this layer. Hopefully you can see that, this layer here. So I'm folding it just in like that. There's an additional way to lock all these layers together. And then I'll try to fold the same way I did on that side on this side. I like to use this crease right here. You can see you've got a crease that goes there as one reference for where I make that slope end. So you can see going right up to that crease. That yields pretty symmetrical sides. And now all we have left to do is fold the wings. So I want to start my wing crease right here, just above this locking mechanism. So you can see we got the locking mechanism on the front of the plane. I want to start just above there, and I'm going to slope towards the back. And as I fold the wing, I'll explain to you exactly how I determine the slope. So just watch as I do this first one, and I'll explain it as I'm going. So as I'm starting right here, I'm pulling it, and what I want to do is, here, let me highlight another crease. I'm realizing I can explain better if I highlight this crease. So as I pull this, you can see I have this crease that is representative of one edge of the fin. I want the wing crease I make to run parallel to that crease. And that is your guide for determining exactly how you make your wings. So once you do one side, you just fold the other side to match. And there you have it. This is a finished Saber, which really is just a gorgeous paper airplane. And now it's got all these string marks on it, of course, but if I just grab this one from off screen, you can see, especially when you fold it out of the template, just how gorgeous this paper airplane really is. And it does fly well too. It's not truly a long distance paper airplane, but it is a wonderful glider and just a really cool paper airplane. So thank you so much for watching, and good luck flying.